Welcome to the first lesson of WAMP server and how you'll be able to start using PHP on your device or on your PC. First off, when you install WAMP server or whichever software you're using, there are XAMPP, then there is MOMP and all of those, and LAMP too. But here, as I'm using WAMP server, first I'm going to do is double click on it. And you'll see CMD will run for a couple of times, and then right over here you can see that it is still orange, but when it turns green, that means the server has turned on. You can stop all the service, start all the service, and restart all of your services too. Now the next thing what we're gonna do is go over to our directory in www and then make our folder there and open it up as a project. So what I'm gonna do is go up to my PC or this PC, then find out local disk C. Now from here, I'm going to do is select on this WAMP64, and then you will find a folder named www. Click on it, and then what you're going to do is make up all of your, let's say, all of the folders or all of the websites which you are trying to edit through PHP over here, so that you can find out your project very easily. Next thing I'm going to show you is that first off, let's just make a folder. Click on new, click on a folder. Let's say this is going to be our index.php, but we already have it. So I'm going to do is type in index. Okay, let's say this is going to be our index. I'm going to open it up and make up our notepad file over here. So from here, I'm going to do is click on new, text document, and from here, I'm going to do is type in index. And on the extension, I'm going to do is type in PHP. And if you're still can't find it, or you don't know how to change this extension, just go over here, search for, let's say, File Explorer option and all of those. File Explorer option, go over to view, unselect this hide extension for known file type. You will see that it will be removed. When I click on it, you can see I'm going to press apply. You can see the extension is not visible, but when I deselect it, press on apply, it is visible. So I'm going to press on OK, and the next thing I'm going to do is open up my browser. First I'm going to do is go over to my browser, click on open with, and I'm going to do is click on more apps. Let's say I'm going to open it up with Internet Explorer or whichever browser I'm using. So I'm going to do is open it up with Opera GX. Let's say I'm going to open it up. You can see that my index.php has opened up over here. But there are a couple of different things you have to keep in mind about PHP when you are opening up on the website. First thing, you need your server. The next thing is that you need to put in the codes or put in that language through HTML codes. Thus, you have to put in PHP inside the body of HTML. Okay? So there are a couple of things you have to keep in mind. But first off, here I'm going to search for localhost to see if it's actually working. Click on enter. Now I can see that it has given me up a page where I can see all of my project, my PHP versions, loaded extensions, tools, projects, aliases, virtual hosts. So let's start off with the first one. As you can see, this is version 3.2.0 and it's a 64-bit. Make sure to download whichever version or whichever bit your PC or laptop is, and then download it according to your desire. Then you will find your Apache version, which is 2.4.41, and documentation. Then we have a server software version, PHP version, the loaded extension, which are these. We're going to go through them one by one and how those actually work. And those are kind of like the extension which is going to increase your functionality in using WAMP server. Then we have its MariaDB, then MySQL version. Then we have the tools. Well, we will go through them step by step later on in our course. Then we have is our project, which was index. You can see from over here that we have is www, and we have our index. But one thing you can do is, if you don't see these options, go over to your task manager or your taskbar, which is going to be up over here. Click on this, right click on it, or click on it, and then you will see a couple of options like tools and all of those, WAMP settings. Okay, so from there what you're gonna do is take a risk. Okay, you will find that in over there. So I'm going to do is click on it, minimize it. Now you will see that a session tray. Okay, so what you're going to do is cut it if you are using the newest version of WAMP. So I'm going to do is open it up. Now you will see an option like this will appear up. So from here, you will find MySQL, PHP, and all of those all together. But from here, I'm going to go over to my settings or my directory. Okay, and then you will find an option called, let's say, settings or tools. From there, you will find an option called take risk. From that take risk, what you're going to do is upload your, like, let's say I'm going to go over here and find it out and show it to you, like verify, which is do not. But what you're going to do is verify it. If you see that do not verify a host file, if it's clicked, then unclick it and those files will appear up on your website. So I'm going to go over to my website again. You can see it has appeared over here. Now you also have adminer, PHP myadmin, PHP sysinfo, and localhost. Now the next thing what we're going to do or show you is going to be opening this up, this index. Okay, so if you are trying to open up your index, just type in .index or .php over here. But that is a bit different because we did not put any command or any language in our text folder. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go over to this file, which I open it up. You can see from over here. Next thing I'm going to do is open it up with a text editor. So to open it up with a text editor, obviously you're going to need a software. There are a couple of software. Okay, there is Atom Writer, and there is, like, which I'm using is Visual Studio Code. You can also use Notepad++ and all of those. That's like totally the same. So from here, I'm going to do is open it up with my Visual Studio Code. You can see that I have pressed on open. It will open up in a couple of time, and then I'm going to start off with my HTML codes, and later on I'm going to be showing you the basics of PHP codes and how those actually work inside of HTML and also our website, which is like quite simple to use. As you can see that this is opened up, so I'm going to do is open up my folder first, open folder, find it out, press on select folder. Well, Visual Studio Code is going to scan up your PC and then find out the folder where your like file or document is. Now I'm going to do is open up my HTML tags. I'm going to do is type in this exclamation mark, press on tab, and you can see this has appeared up. So the next thing what we're going to do is using up my PHP codes or PHP language, and you're going to put that inside your body, and that is quite simple to do. First off, I'm going to do is hit on enter, make some spaces, and then I'm going to start off with the PHP, which is going to be this open tag. Make sure to hit in a question and then PHP. Make sure to like keep it to php2.php. Now, as I've typed in PHP over here, what you're going to do is make up your content over here or put in your content over here. And you should keep your local host on most of the time when you are using PHP. Make sure to see this if it's green. If it's not green, then it's not going to work. So I'm going to do is type in PHP, and then I'm going to do is type in my content, which is going to be echo. So I'm going to do is hit on enter, and here I'm going to do is type in echo, which is another command of PHP. Hit on enter. Now I'm going to do is open up my bracket, and then here in the bracket I'm going to do is type in hello. There. Okay. Now as I've typed in that, close it off, which is this, and I'm going to do is close the PHP with a question and a close tag, which you can see over here, a question and a close tag. Now I am done with my PHP, which is just the basic, and that is quite simple to do. So the next thing what we're going to do is going to be going over to my website and see if it actually works, and make sure to like keep one thing in mind, make sure that your server is always on. So I'm going to go over to my website, which is going to be over here. The next thing I'm going to do is localhost. Find out your localhost, which number it is. Okay, localhost. So from our website, I'm going to do is type in /www/index, the name you put in your folder or your PHP file .php. Well, if I do that, you will see that an index error will appear up or it will not be found. So the next thing what we're going to do is open up our CMD and type in a command, which will help us to find our code of our localhost. To do that, I'm going to do is go over to my Windows and search for CMD from here. CMD. You can see it like over here, I'm gonna just right click on it, run as administrator, and here the next thing I'm gonna do is going to be opening up a command. Okay, to use that command, what we're gonna do is type in. So here I'm gonna do is type in my command, which is going to be PHP, then make a space, this hyphen, and then type in S, capital S. The next thing I'm gonna do is make some spaces again, then local host, and then this, and then type in 4000 and see if it works. Hit on enter, and you can see this is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program, or batch file. So what you're gonna do next is find out another one where you can type in your code, which is going to be users. Okay, so to find users, you can see C users my PC PHP and then this code. Okay, so let's try putting in our 4000 over here. Let's see if it still works. If it doesn't work, then we have to put in another code. So here's going to be 4000 and see if it works. If you see an error like this appears up, you can see this side can't be reached, then it means that it is not 4000. So I'm going to do is cut it off again. And then go over to localhost. So if you still see that we are facing that problem, then the next thing I'm going to do is download PHP, or the version of PHP to be like individual. Okay, first I'm going to go over to my website, and from here I'm going to do is download PHP. Okay, hit on enter, and then you will see the PHP option will appear up, or the PHP website. From there, I'm gonna do is find out the PHP old stable or the new stable. Make sure to download the newest version of it because it's going to contain more of the newer versions. So from here, you can go through each and every one and find out which one you want to use. Okay, from here you can download PHP 7.1, 7.2, 8.1, 8.2. But I'm gonna suggest you to use around like 7.2 and all of those, 7.1. Even though if it's old, it's going to contain all of the like tools which you actually need. And if you want to go for the newer ones, well, I'm gonna suggest you to go for the newest one because it's going to contain a lot of bug fixes. So you can choose within which one you want. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you that lesson or that methods in the next lesson. So thank you for watching this video up till the end.